In baseball news, we have baseball news. Basically, Kenley Jansen recorded his 400th career save yesterday, um, and he's only the seventh pitcher in baseball to record 400 saves or more. He's got a long way to go to catch up to a lot of these record holders. The record holder in baseball right now for the most career saves is Mariano Rivera, who has 652 saves. All which he recorded all those with the Yankees because the Yankees was the only team he pitched for. Trevor Hoffman is second with 601. Lee Smith has 478 career saves. He's the third. Got the third most. Francisco Rodriguez has 437. He's got fourth all time. Then you got John Franco with 424. Billy Wagner is sixth with 422, and then Kenley Jansen, like I said, becomes the seventh with 400. And then you got Craig Kimbrell, who's going to be who's eighth all time with 397. And if he records 400 saves, he'll be the eighth pitcher to do so. Aroldis Chapman is number 24 on the list with 316. There's a lot of these players, and it gives you a list of like over 100 different people on this list with saves, and stuff like that. So my Cubs did win yesterday. They took 1 out of 3 against the St. Louis Cocksuckers, which they should have taken all 3 games because St. Louis doesn't have anybody, and the Cubs obviously didn't want to win the first 2 games, but they won yesterday 10-4. Justin Steele is undefeated for the Cubs. Justin Steele with his win yesterday, he's 6-0 on the season for the Cubs, which is actually a pretty good record to start the season. Yan Gomes and Patrick Wisdom powered the Cubs with their home runs, and Dansby Swanson, who was an additional signing, because he signed with the Cubs in the offseason, so he was an addition to the team, and so he provided 2 RBIs. And then the Tampa Bay Rays still hold the best record right now with a 29-9 record. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Rays will be facing the Yankees. The Yankees won yesterday, 11-3. But they're still 21. They're like 21-17 on the season, which is not a very good record. But there's still 120 something games left in the season. So let's see how the season goes and see how everybody does. Now, Shohei Ohtani had surpassed Babe Ruth the other day as a two-way player for the most strikeouts. As an aspect of pitching, Shohei Ohtani is a pitcher, and he's also a designated hitter. So even with him playing the pitcher role, he still managed to hit 135 homers in his 6-year career, splitting time between pitching and designated hitting. He's got like around 500 career strikeouts as a pitcher. Also, Babe Ruth, who was drafted as a pitcher, struck out 488 in his 6-year career before permanently moving to the outfield and giving up pitching altogether. Most of the people that know Babe Ruth's name didn't know that he started off as a pitcher. But even with me doing a lot of my research for sports, I knew that Babe Ruth was a pitcher, even though he played before my time. Now, also Shohei Ohtani, it's also talked about that this is also the talks for free agency during the later on part of the season, because a lot of players are going to be talking to other teams when the season ends, and there will be talks about who will sign where. Shohei Ohtani's name has come up multiple times throughout trade talks and everything else, and possibly free agent signings. Shohei Ohtani, it's rumored that he's asking for a $600 deal. Who knows if that's true? That's just a rumor I've heard. But to me, no player is worth $600 million or more, because a lot of damn times those players do not meet the contract and they end up becoming a bust. That's what happened with Prince Fielder, and that's also what happened with a few other players where they signed these massive deals and then they didn't, and then the deal never turned out to be what they expected. Let's see what else here. And my Cubs, with their win yesterday, they're 18-9, which is 18-19, which is not the best record. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. MLB. Let's see what we got for news. The Yankees transferred Loaiza to the 60-day disabled list. One of the Minnesota Twins pitcher, Molly, is going to undergo Tommy John surgery, and he'll be done for the year. Marlins, the Miami Marlins promote top pitching prospect Yuri Perez for his MLB debut. Of course, he's only 20 years old, and he's the youngest player for the Marlins to ever make his debut. Also, here's a story to talk about. Mookie Betts, the Dodgers were playing the Milwaukee Brewers the other day, and Mookie Betts instead decides to rent an Airbnb because the hotel that the Dodgers were checking into in Milwaukee is supposedly haunted with ghosts, and he didn't want to take the chance of being endured by a ghost, so he avoids the hotel because it was haunted, or supposable haunting. Um, let's see the Cincinnati Reds shut out the New York Mets. New York Mets have lost 5 straight games in a row. And this was the game from yesterday. The Cubs, like I said, had won. Justin Steele for the Cubs moved to 6-0, and the Cubs get homers from Patrick Wisdom and Yan Gomes in a 10-4 win over the Cardinals. Patrick Wisdom and Yan Gomes homered to lead the unbeaten Justin Steele, and the Chicago Cubs passed the St. Louis Cocksuckers 10-4 on Wednesday night, snapping a 3-game skid because the Cubs had lost 3 games straight before winning yesterday. Steele did give up 3 runs and 7 hits in 6 innings, but he did manage to strike out 3 and walked 3 batters. But he joined Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw as the only 6-game winners in the National League. He basically said, "I felt really good tonight." Justin Steele said he had gone 14 consecutive starts without allowing more than 2 earned runs, but he says, "I felt like I had all my pitches working, and it was fun." Nolan Arenado for the St. Louis Cocksuckers hit his first triple of the season for St. Louis, which had won 3 straight after dropping 8 in a row. Jordan Montgomery for the St. Louis Cocksuckers took his 5th loss of the season, but he still has a 2-5 record, which, like I said, that can change at any given time in the season. He had lost for the 5th time in 6 starts after giving up 6 runs in 5 innings. He did issue a pair of walks to load the bases in the 2nd, but he caught Christopher Morel looking at a 3rd strike to escape the jam of the inning. Now, Jordan Montgomery's luck changed an inning later when Wisdom hit his 12th homer of the season, which was a 2-run shot that gave the Cubs the lead for good. Now, Yan Gomes, who was reinstated from the 7-day concussion injured list in the day, had also added a 2-run homer an inning later that came a few feet short of clearing the left field bleachers. Definitely it feels good to be back, said Gomes, who helped the scuffling Cubs offense rack up 14 hits. Now this game is contagious and the momentum is a big thing, and we hope it goes our way from now. Dansby Swanson hit a 2-run double off Drew Verhagen in Chicago's 3-run 6th inning to break the game open. And Christopher Morel, who was just called up from the minors, had finished with a pair of RBI singles, and Trey Mancini drew 3 walks, and he scored 3 times. Nolan Arenado knocked in the Cocksuckers' first run with his triple in the first, and Wilson Contreras, who's a trader now, had singled home a run in the third to stake Montgomery to an early 2-0 lead. Now today the game got away from us, but overall we still feel pretty good about some of the pieces coming together, Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol said, and it was a good series win. Now the season series between the National League Central rivals resumes in late June, when they meet for a 2-game set in London, England. The Cardinals will be the home team at London England Stadium, which served as the track and field venue for the 2012 summer. Now the Cubs did make a few moves to make room for young Gomes being activated. The Cubs had optioned Miguel Amaya back to AAA. Also, the Cubs sent Nelson Velasquez back to the minors also to make room for Christopher Morel. The Cubs and Cocksuckers are off today. The Cubs will face Minnesota, I think, in the next series, and it's going to be Drew Smyly against Sonny Gray. The Cardinals will face Boston. Adam Wainwright, who's still pitching, which I'm surprised he still is, because the guy's like 42 years old. He will be pitching for the Cardinals, or Cocksuckers as I like to call them, and he will face off against Boston's left-handed pitcher, James Paxton. The winners in yesterday's games were the Yankees winning 11-3, Rockies beat the Pirates 4-3, Tigers beat the Cleveland Guardians 5-0. For the people that are confused, the Guardians used to be the Indians. People said, oh, the name was racist, and so they demanded that they change the name. Shohei Ohtani for the Angels basically hits his 8th home run of the year yesterday, but it wasn't enough for the Angels to win. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Milwaukee Brewers 8-1. The Miami Marlins beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-4 yesterday. The Texas Rangers beat Seattle Mariners 4-3. The Washington Nationals beat the San Francisco Giants 11-6. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Toronto Blue Jays 2-1. The Houston Astros beat the Los Angeles Angels 5-4. The Baltimore Orioles beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1. Tampa Bay Rays also used to be known as the Tampa Bay Double Rays, and then they just stopped the name Double and just started using the name Tampa Bay Rays. Now last night the New York Mets did win, but that was 2-1, but they ended up losing today 5-0. Boston Red Sox won 5-2. That's where Kenley Jansen got his 400th career save. The Kansas City Royals beat the Chicago Sox 9-1. And the Minnesota Twins beat the San Diego Padres 4-3, but that took 11 innings to win that one. And then the Cubs beat the Cocksuckers 10-4. And like I said, Kenley Jansen becomes the 7th pitcher in baseball to get his 400th career save. Now, Kenley Jansen had spent his first 12 years pitching for the Dodgers, where he recorded a majority of his career saves. He basically got 350 career saves with the Dodgers before going to the Atlanta Braves last year. And Kenley Jansen said that he had pitched, that he grew up in the country that he grew up in, being a Braves fan and watching the Braves, because he was a big fan of Andrew Jones, who was also, and Andrew Jones happens to be from the same country that Kenley Jansen's from. Ronald Acuna Jr. yesterday hit a 470-foot homer for Atlanta, but it wasn't enough for Atlanta to win. Now Boston is 22-16 on the year, and Atlanta is 25-12. With Acuna Jr.'s homer yesterday, was the 7th of the year. Now Bello for the Red Sox would take the win. Former Cub pitcher Chris Martin struck out 3, and he did pitch an inning and got his 7th hold of the season. AJ Minter took the loss yesterday, even though he's not a starter, but AJ Minter took his 4th loss of the season. Former Cub Jesse Chavez, who pitches for the Braves, struck out 2, and that was really it there on that one. My Cubs who won yesterday, which are 18-19, like I said, on the year. Patrick Wisdom is leading the Cubs in homers this year with 12. And Yan Gomes, who just got reinstated, hit his 6th home run of the year. So pitchers yesterday for the Cubs were Justin Steele, struck out 3. Because the Cubs won by more than 6 runs, it was not a save situation. But Michael Fulmer struck out 1, and Brad Boxberger struck out 1. Keegan Thompson did pitch an inning. He did give up 3 hits and 1 run, but he didn't strike out anybody. Yesterday the Cubs did not steal any bases. Neither did the cocksuckers. But with Yan Gomes' home run, it was his 6th of the year, and he's got 15 RBIs in the season. Patrick Wisdom hit his 12th home run of the year. Like I said, it was a 2-run shot. And he has 23 RBIs in the year. He's going to need a lot more RBIs than that. Swanson got 2 RBIs, his 14th and 15th of the year. Morel with 2 RBIs, that puts him at 3. And Seiya Suzuki had got his 10th RBI of the year. But that's really about it. But I'm actually excited for Kenley Jansen to get his 400th career save, and let's see how many more saves he will rack up at his time, because he is getting up there in age. He's 36, or he's going to be 36 this year, I think. I don't know if he turned 36 yet or not, but if he is, he's got a long way to go to catch up to Mariano Rivera if he plays that long to do so. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and so if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you've been notified when the new video comes out. And if you can go ahead and leave a comment and let me know what you think about the baseball news. Or just any sports news in general, because I will probably put up different videos on sports anyway. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just as little as a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.